Your biological autonomy is currently under a state of total siege. Look at your hands. They are not your own. They are the peripheral nervous system of a machine you do not control. You are a biological unit that has been effectively hijacked by a high-frequency, algorithmically driven parasitic interface. Your eyes, designed by evolution to scan the horizon for apex predators and resource-rich territories, are now locked into a 6-inch rectangle of flickering blue light that emits a specific frequency of radiation designed to suppress your natural melatonin production and keep your central nervous system in a state of permanent low-grade agitation. You are living in a digital cage where the bars are made of dopamine loops and the floor is made of data mining protocols. Your skin is sallow, lacking the vitamin D and the elemental friction of the real world because you have been convinced that the virtual is a valid substitute for the visceral. You are breathing the stale, recycled air of a sedentary existence while your brain waves are being harvested for profit. You are not a consumer, you are the product. You are a resource to be drained, a battery to be used until your capacity drops, and then you will be discarded for the next updated model. The system does not want your consciousness, it wants your click rate. Thousands of years ago, focus was the ultimate biological asset. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the wild, possessed a mind that was as sharp as the flint in his hand. If his focus drifted for a single millisecond while tracking a beast or defending his perimeter, he ceased to exist. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of absolute, unshakable presence. There was no distraction in the Pleistocene. There was only the target and the void. His primal grounding was his ability to hold a single, lethal intent in his mind for hours, days, or weeks. He was a master of his own internal reality because he had no notifications to interrupt his flow. And you have the attention span of a fruit fly on a sugar high. You have been systematically dismantled by a visual rage of flickering images and short-form content that has shattered your ability to think deeply, plan long-term, or exist in silence. You have been turned into a meat puppet that flinches every time a glass rectangle vibrates in your pocket. You are the diluted, filtered, and castrated version of a predator. To achieve a real rebellion against the digital shackles, you must reinfect your nervous system with the virus of the long form. You must treat every app on your device as a biological parasite designed to eat your time, the only non-renewable resource you actually possess. Reclaim the silence or stay a ghost in their machine. Digital shackles are the implementation of the anti-chew protocol for your soul. The system wants your life to be convenient because convenience is the anesthetic they use to perform the lobotomy of your will. You must make your life digitally indigestible. This is the visual rage of the architect. Seeing the standardized digital decay, the endless scroll, the pornographic consumption of information, the fake social validation, and deciding to become a high-frequency anomaly, you must develop a clinical cold contempt for connectivity. Connectivity is just a polite word for collection. To be superior is to be disconnected. You must cultivate a persona of the analog monolith, a part of your consciousness that refuses to be measured, tracked, or predicted. You must treat your online presence as a tactical decoy. If they can find you, they can label you. If they can label you, they can control you. This is the color of freedom. By imposing a total blackout on your internal state, you become a ghost that the algorithm cannot compute. Most people are meat puppets who scream their secrets into the cloud. You must be the one who keeps his secrets in the bone. You must become an operator who uses the digital world as a tool, but never allows the tool to use the man. The algorithm cannot predict what it cannot observe. Your time is the temporal noose, and every scroll is a tightening of the knot. Every minute you spend in the digital feed is a minute stolen from your biological expansion. I command you, initiate the total sensory purge. Your body is a biological fortress, and it is currently being occupied by foreign signals. Your focus is a biological weapon, and it is currently rusted shut by the visual rage of the screen. You must perform a cognitive hard reset. Stop consuming their content, the intellectual sludge designed to keep you dreaming while they strip your territory. Stop participating in their discussions, the circular arguments designed to waste your activation energy. Stop using their platforms, the digital cages designed to keep you visible and compliant. You must prune your digital life with the collar of discipline. If a device doesn't make you physically stronger, mentally sharper, or financially more sovereign, it is a biological saboteur. You must learn to love the analog friction of the real world. You must learn to love the weight of the book, the cold of the wind, and the heavy silence of your own thoughts. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a physical and mental fortress that the digital shackles can neither hold nor break. Come on, unplug the vein or be bled dry. The neural architecture of your brain is being physically physically rewired by an invisible architect of malice. Look at the way your hand reaches for the device before your conscious mind has even formulated a thought. That is not a habit, that is a biological takeover. You are a biological unit experiencing a viral infection of the prefrontal cortex. The system has identified your primitive hunting instincts and redirected them toward a bottomless pit of pixels. Your dopamine receptors, designed to reward you for securing a kill or finding a new territory, are now being fried by a relentless barrage of variable rewards, likes, comments, and the endless pull-to-refresh mechanism that mimics a slot machine in a digital casino. You are living in a state of high-alert paralysis, where your nervous system is constantly flooded with cortisol because the digital grid is feeding you a visual rage of global catastrophes, social comparisons, and manufactured outrage. Your skin is vibrating with the microstress of 1,000 unread notifications, and your eyes are losing their ability to perceive depth because they have been trained to focus only on a flat, two-dimensional plane. You are a biological resource that has been farmed for attention, your focus harvested like a crop to feed the AdSense monster. The system doesn't want your intelligence, it wants your dwell time. In the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unblinking eye, the master was the one who could ignore the noise and see the signal. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the deep silence, understood that information overload was a lethal trap. He possessed primal grounding in the physical reality of his surroundings. He knew every rustle in the grass, every change in the wind, and every shift in the light. His digital rebellion would have been the absolute destruction of anything that interfered with his sensory clarity. He understood that a man who cannot control his own focus is a man who cannot defend his own throat. His sovereignty was a product of his monolith concentration, the ability to ignore the chatter of the herd and remain locked on the mission. And you are a creature of hyperstimulation. You have been conditioned to feel boredom as a physical pain, when in reality, boredom is the gateway to the deep brain states required for genius and expansion. You have been trained to fear the silence because in the silence, you might realize how much of your life you have wasted on content. To break the digital shackles, you must relearn the art of sensory deprivation. You must treat your attention as a sovereign currency that you refuse to spend on trash data. He who controls the input controls the output. Digital shackles are the implementation of the anti-chew protocol for your cognitive mental autonomy. The system wants your thoughts to be pre-processed by an algorithm. It wants your opinions to be trending and your beliefs to be curated. This is the visual rage of the hive mind, seeing the standardized digital lobotomy, where every biological unit thinks the same thoughts because they are all plugged into the same feed. You must make your mind algorithmically unreadable. This is the color of freedom. By deliberately consuming analog information that the system cannot track, physical books, oral traditions, and private experiments, you create a cognitive blind spot that the matrix cannot map. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for digital convenience. Every smart device in your home is a biological snitch, reporting your habits back to the central node. You must cultivate a persona of the digital ghost, someone who uses the network for tactical strikes of information, but never leaves a biological signature. You must treat your smartphone as a radioactive isotope. Keep it at a distance, limit your exposure, and never let it near your bed. The matrix cannot harvest what it cannot see. Your time is the temporal noose, and every like you receive is a tax on insight that you are paying to your captors. Every hour you spend in the metaverse is an hour where your physical body is decaying in reality. I command you, initiate the total cognitive blackout. Your brain is a biological engine, and it is currently running on low-quality data sludge. You must perform a neural system wipe. Stop being reachable 24/7. Stop being updated on things that don't affect your net worth or your biological superiority. Stop being a node in their social network. You must prune your digital interactions with the collar of absolute discipline. If a digital platform requires you to sacrifice your analog focus, it is a biological saboteur. You must learn to love the weight of the real. You must learn to love the static-free hours of the early morning where the grid is silent and your mind is the only architect in the room. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is off-grid by choice and on-target by design. You are not a user of the system. You are the one who is going to outlast it. Command: shatter the script screen or wear the collar. Your current neural state is a landscape of scorched earth. Look at the trembling of your focus, the way your mind skips across the surface of reality like a stone on a frozen lake, unable to penetrate the depths. You are a biological system in the final stages of a digital takeover. The synapses in your brain have been physically altered to favor the short burst signal over the long-form architecture. Your capacity for deep work has been surgically removed by 1,000 notifications, leaving you with a brain that is wide but shallow, a puddle of useful data for the system to drink. You are experiencing the visual rage of the terminal consumer, seeing your life force being digitized, compressed, and sold to the highest bidder while your physical body sits in a chair, stagnant and heavy with the biological rot of the inactive. You are breathing in the invisible radiation of 1,000 smart devices, your cells vibrating at a frequency that is not yours, while your soul is being uploaded into a cloud that you do not own. You are a resource-rich organism that has been convinced that its primary duty is to stay connected until the very moment of its biological shutdown. The system doesn't want your freedom, it wants your neural synchronization. Return to the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unmonitored mind. In the primal world, the master was the one who could maintain a biological silence in the face of chaos. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped territory, understood that his focus was his only defense against the predatory void. He possessed a primal grounding in the analog absolute. He didn't need a dashboard to tell him his heart rate. He felt the rhythm of his blood in his ears. He didn't need a GPS to find his way home. He read the map of the stars etched into the deep memory of his DNA. His digital rebellion was his total analog sovereignty. He understood that to be tracked was to be targeted. His rebellion was a physical manifestation of his refusal to be a unit in someone else's ledger. He was a master of the clandestine hunt, the ability to move through the world without leaving a digital signature. And you are terrified of being alone with your own thoughts. You have been trained to believe that boredom is a biological emergency that must be treated with a dopamine injection from the grid. To break the digital shackles, you must relearn the art of absolute cognitive isolation. You must take your mind off the grid. A man who can think for 6 hours without a screen is a man the Matrix cannot comprehend. To be a master, you must first become unreachable. Digital shackles are the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final mental expansion. The Matrix wants you to be user-friendly and interactive, words that mean accessible and vulnerable. Absolute sovereignty is a neural siege. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the digital grid for what it is, a series of Pavlovian triggers, stimulus-response loops, and deciding to be the one who cuts the wire. You must develop a clinical, cold contempt for digital community. The digital tribe is a fake hierarchy designed to keep the meat puppets arguing while the architects harvest the resources. You must learn to occupy the offline high ground by controlling your own attention span. Use the temporal noose of the deep focus to outthink and outmaneuver the distracted masses. Use the false safety of a social media profile to feed the algorithm garbage data while you conduct your real operations in the physical world. This is the collar of freedom. By mastering the analog arts of the mind, you become the only person in the room who is actually online in reality. Most people are digital ghosts who can be manipulated by a single trending topic. You must become the one who is immune to the current thing. You are not browsing, you are executing. The one who controls the pause button of his own mind owns the reality of the room. Your time is the temporal noose, and your connectivity is the knot. Every time you check in, you are checking out of your own life. I command you, initiate the final digital imperative. This is the tax of insight. You have been given the key to the analog prison break. To keep it, you must live it. You must become a living monolith of offline authority. You are no longer a user or a subscriber. You are a sovereign analog operator. You must perform a total technical audit. If a device requires you to be dependent, it is a biological saboteur. You must prune your digital life with the collar of silence. You are building a fortress of real-world results in a world of virtual excuses. Your focus is the physical proof of your biological leverage. You do not ask for attention, you command it. You do not wait for the signal, you are the signal. You are the architect of your own cognitive territory, and the digital grid is nothing more than a ghost on your radar. Command: kill the feed or be fed to the machine.